What's up guys, this is Danny MATRANGA with Mind Pump TV, and today I want to show you some exercises you can do with this tool to really help improve your glute development. Having strong glutes is critical to having a properly functioning body, both mechanically and also aesthetically. If you're somebody who has back pain, hip pain, or just wants to develop your glutes, having a glute band like this gives you access to all the movements you would need to target them if you didn't have access to things like barbells and free weights if you wanted to do maybe hip thrusts or squats. So a simple band like this is all you need to start training your glutes or adding to the glute training that you're already doing. I want to show you guys 3 movements today. The first one is a banded bridge, right? So we know that the bridge or the thrust works hip extension, the primary function of the gluteus maximus, right? But some of the upper fibers of the gluteus maximus and the 2 smaller muscles of the glute complex, the gluteus medius and minimus, actually play a role in hip abduction and external rotation, or pushing the thighs out. So I'm going to show you guys how to recruit all of the fibers of all of the glutes with one movement with a banded hip thrust or banded floor bridge. The second movement I'm going to show you guys is a banded hip abduction. This is a great movement for building up a nice pump that will really help you feel all the regions of your glutes. And then the last one is a simple lateral band walk that can not only help with the upper glute, but it's also really going to help you guys feel those medius, or the gluteus medius and gluteus minimus. When you do the banded bridge or banded hip thrust, right, you can do it a variety of ways. You can even use a barbell if you get to that level or you're that advanced. Setup's everything, right? I recommend, and I have my clients do this, start with the band, get it all the way up over the kneecap, over the patella, up onto the very edge of the quad, right? Not quite so much that it's in the crease here of your calves, because that's going to get uncomfortable, but you should just be able to see that little teardrop of your quad right out over the edge. Once you're into this position, I like to use the ball. I find this is how I feel it the most, but again, you can do it on the floor or on a bench with a barbell. As you roll down into position, we want to make sure that the shins are vertical. We don't want them too far backward or we'll get too much quad. So once you get the shins vertical, we want to tuck the chin and go into full hip extension, pushing out against the band the entire time. At this point, when you're in full hip extension and you have some hip abduction, you're going to have all 3 muscles of the glute complex active. Maintaining that outward push, you just want to go through, I would recommend 15 to 20 reps of body weight pumps under a slow, controlled tempo, getting a posterior pelvic tilt at the top to fully activate the glute. And if you do 15 to 20 of these, your glutes should be absolutely screaming. If you want to, you can hold maybe a 10, 15 pound dumbbell across your lap. And once you get good at that, then you can start doing it on a bench with a barbell. For banded hip abduction, I prefer to do these seated on a ball or a bench. You can do them flat on the ground, but I prefer them from this position. The setup is very similar to the banded hip thrusts. We want the band in the same position. You should be able to kind of see the tip of the quadricep peeking out. From that position, we want our feet 4 to 5 inches apart. Shins should be vertical. From there, I like to put my hands on my hips and lean forward into the movement. This helps me feel my glutes. You might want to play with it a little bit to see where you need to be to get the most glute activation, but I would try leaning in. The last piece, we're going to want to push outward into abduction, and I actually like to push hard enough to go out onto the lateral edge of my shoe, my foot, and I like to pump at a relatively quick pace for upwards of 20, sometimes even 30 reps. You're not going to be able to load this with something like a dumbbell or a barbell. So the way we overload or send that stimulus to the glutes is by overloading volume or repetitions, right? Or speed or time under tension. You can obviously get a stronger and stronger band, but they don't make these much stronger than this. So once you get a good band, you're going to have to increase repetitions to continue to get the stimulus out of this exercise. Abduction exercise, as I mentioned earlier, are some of the best exercises for targeting the upper glute and gluteus medius and minimus. When we do these exercises, they're typically done laterally, right? So the lateral band walk is a perfect way to start your frontal plane hip abduction movements, right? So Hands on the hips is where I like to start. You could do it with the knees unlocked, or you can do them with the knees locked. I'm gonna show you guys with the knees locked. It's a little bit harder, right? But if you need to regress, just unlock the knees, set the hips back, and go from there. The goal is to step side to side, right? I'm not bringing my feet together. I'm just stepping to the right, letting the left foot come with it, and then stepping back to the left, letting the right foot travel back with it. And I'm gonna go side to side. I don't like to count reps here. I actually like to go for time. My favorite place to start is about 30 seconds. I find most people can manage that. Try to work your way up to a minute. You're going to start to feel the outer portion of your glutes, even your upper hips, and then your upper glutes start to fatigue a little bit. Your job is to continue the movement. If you want to go for more than 30 seconds, but you feel yourself breaking down, you can actually unlock the knees, regress to the easier position, keep the movement going. You want to chase the pump. This is one of those movements that is all about accumulating lactic acid, getting a nice burn and a nice pump. Because again, we're not using weights, so we can really only overload this with a pump. So I hope you guys enjoy those exercises when you try them out. I know I looked a little bit ridiculous when I did them. My glutes are still burning. The way you want to approach this is goal dependent. So if you're somebody who has a hard time feeling your glutes before you do your typical weight training workout, you might want to try them before. 1 to 2 sets of 15 to 20 should be more than enough. If that's going to be a standalone workout for you, maybe you don't have gym access, you're just going to work out at home with a band, you're going to have to up the volume. 3, 4, even 5 sets, depending on how much time you have and how advanced you get. And if you want to do those exercises at the end as kind of a burnout on maybe a glute-focused leg day, I would just recommend taking them to fatigue, 1 to 2 sets each, and then head on out of the gym. Your glutes should be sufficiently roasted.
All right, thanks for tuning in, you guys. If you guys liked that video, make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Also, if you have any questions regarding this video, just leave them in the comments below. We'll be coming back periodically and answering those for you.